Hi, good day, everyone. Beverly Brown here with Chesapeake Travel. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. It is Travel Tuesday here in my world. And today I have with me again my favorite cruise line representative, Amy Bonheim with Royal Caribbean. Amy, how are you today?
Oh, I'm so thankful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome, and thank you for coming on the show with us today. So I heard a rumor. We are back in the water sailing again.
We started sailing this past month, and now that we're in July, we're actually sailing out of the United States. Isn't that exciting?
That is so exciting. I like to do my Muppet impression.
Oh my gosh.
My best Kermit the Frog. So anyway, that's so exciting. So we're sailing out of US ports, which is great. So much easier than having to navigate airlift over to other islands to get on a boat. Um, so what else can you tell us? You got any good nuggets for us today?
I do. Are you okay if I share some images?
Absolutely. Please do.
I am so excited. All right, so I don't know if you can see my screen. Just let me know.
I sure can.
So it's true. The wait is over. You are absolutely right. And we're sailing out of Florida. We're sailing out of Seattle, doing Alaska. We're sailing out of Galveston, Texas. And then we, of course, are open in a few other areas of the world, but specifically in the United States, we have a lot going on. And I think what's really cool about it, Bev, you and I were talking about this earlier today, is that we have long sailings for people who want to do longer 7-night itineraries, but we also have the 3 and 5 night getaway. So just depending on what fits with people's schedules or ways that different people like to cruise, there's so many different options. Another cool fact that's really interesting is that obviously we're going to all these amazing destinations. We're doing Southern Caribbean, Western Caribbean, Bahamas, whatever it is that clients are looking for, we have an itinerary for them. But what's really cool is that we have some really great ships in addition to the destinations. For our 7-night getaways, both out of Galveston and Florida, it's Odyssey of the Seas. Brand new ship, never has had anybody on board before. Allure of the Seas, Symphony, both Oasis class, beautiful ships, similar to the one that you see in the picture on the screen. Independence of the Seas, which has been renovated previously. Freedom of the Seas, Mariner, they're doing our 3 and 5 night getaways, and those are both amplified. So for a lot of people who don't know what that means, is we did a full-on renovation of those two ships that are doing our short getaways, and they've just got a lot of great things on it. Different dining, bars and nightlife, pools and attractions, so many different things on board. So I think that's probably one of the best parts of cruising, both in the old world and in the new world, is that you get to go to amazing destinations, but you also get an amazing cruise ship. That's part of it too. So I could talk all day. So what do you think about some of these?
Well, I love it because, for me, it's like an amusement park at sea. There's just so many things to see and do on board ship. So, even when you come out of the northern Atlantic and sail down to the Caribbean, you have a couple days at sea just to have fun on board and goof off and play around and relax. No pressures, no worries, no problems, right? Um, so you said Galveston. Tell me a little more, because Jenny Statler, I know you're out there. We're working on your next year. So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit more about porting out of Galveston.
Yes. Oh my gosh, our Galveston itineraries. I mean, really, that whole port, as you know, is under renovations, and everything is just phenomenal and new. And Independence of the Seas is a wonderful ship. She's been recently renovated, so she has a lot of wonderful things on board. But yeah, so you can actually start booking for that now, and we sail out of her starting in August. And at least for right now, we have policies only in place for July and August as of right now. And at least for right now, for Galveston, you do need to be fully vaccinated for these 2 months. However, I just want to point out that all of our policies that we're sharing, we are actually sharing about a 30 days out prior to sailing. So that way one, it gives people the opportunity to, if they do decide that they want to get vaccinated or not, or whatever it is their decision is. But overall, more people will be vaccinated, and in turn, the policies might be changing in the future. So with that being said, we're giving it about a 30-day timeline, so that way we're just trying to wait to make sure that we're making the best decision for our guests, and that way, hopefully, our policies will change in the turnaround. So we'll actually talk more about that later when we talk about the Royal Caribbean app.
Fantastic. And I think the point you make there is you're hitting it home, because pun intended, fluid, right? Water, cruising. The situation in the travel landscape right now is very fluid. What is policy protocol one week may change the next, and as the consumer, as the traveler, you may not be up to date on all that information, but us as travel advisors with our supplier partners and our great folks that keep us informed, so that we know exactly what you need to know to make sure that your vacation experience is seamless, flawless, and relaxing. You shouldn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, do I have the right type of test? Do I have the right this? Do I have the right that? Let me go Google and search this. No, leave it up to the travel advisors. That's our role in your vacation, is to take care of all that pre-departure detail and feed you the information that you need to know. Awesome, Amy. So what else do we have? Let's get it.
Okay, so in addition to what we have here, we're actually also sailing out of, drum roll, Alaska, sailing this summer. We're so excited. So I've actually booked myself with my family for August. So if that goes to show excitement, I mean, I don't know what else does. It's firsthand experience. But both of our Serenade and Ovation of the Seas will be sailing this summer. As of right now, our Alaska itineraries, Galveston, they're both going to require vaccines for July and August. Now remember, don't forget, our Florida itineraries at this point are blended cruises as of right now for July and August. So if you are unvaccinated and you still want to sail, we are excited to welcome you on board out of Florida. But we're also sailing out of Alaska. And my golly, I am so excited. So Serenade of the Seas, Ovation of the Seas, both sailing. And I want to share the itineraries because, the thing about Alaska is that cruising is probably one of the best ways to see Alaska, and probably one of the only ways that a lot of people think of when traveling there. And we weren't able to sail last year, so there's a lot of pent-up demand for people wanting to travel to Alaska, and also for a lot of people who, maybe they still want to stay relatively local and are kind of still looking for that somewhat local option, but still want to have an exotic experience. Alaska is definitely the place to go.
I found interesting about Alaska that I learned a few years ago that I didn't think about.
Tell me.
Most of the landscape on the cruise itineraries in Alaska is in a rainforest. We usually think of rainforests in the Caribbean and in tropical locations, but in actuality, from Seattle up to Skagway, that part of Alaska is part rainforest. So very, very interesting. Like cold in the winter, but rainforest.
Well, I love it too. I would say, obviously the Caribbean is so exciting and there's so much to do and so much to see in the Caribbean. But also in Alaska, I like to say it's a once in a lifetime experience. For a lot of people, it's not once in a lifetime because it's so amazing. But really, you get so much of that culture and that wildlife and the scenery that you don't get in a lot of other places. And similar to being up in a way balloon at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, how it's just 360 degrees of beautiful views. I think that about all of Alaska. It's just no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, it's like you can't capture the beauty in a picture or in a conversation. It's just you have to experience it. So, anyways, point being, we're open for sale, and we can't wait to welcome you.
Alaska is same for me. You have to see it with your own eyes to understand the beauty that has been created on this earth and the vastness of the size of the state of Alaska and just those mountains and all. It's, you know, I try to explain it and verbally paint that picture for people, but until your eyes have seen it, you just don't get it. And I myself was like, and you know, I'm a beach girl, so to
I know.
it was like, oh my goodness, do I want to do this? But it was the most amazing experience. So, yeah, anyone out there listening, by all means, make sure you put Alaska cruise on your bucket list, and bring the family. Like, Alaska doesn't have to be when you're old and retired. Yeah,
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got 2 kids, and I'm bringing them both with me on Serenade of the Seas in August. So, we actually have a wonderful um, children's program. It's called Adventure Ocean. It's actually all the way up to 17, so it's not really just for children. It's really for the anywhere 6 months to 17 years old. But amazing, amazing. I tell my kids it's cruise school because they can relate to that, but really it's Adventure Ocean.
cruise school. That's cute.
So, well, is it okay? I'd love to share with you a few things that we have done to kind of make things easier for guests on board.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you, like, what's different now with cruising?
Well, a few things are different, but for July and August, as you know, we have different things in place. But overall, in the bigger picture, some things that are different is really, I would say, really ensuring that you use the app. A lot of places that when you go traveling, how many of you have used your United or your Southwest app or something to go ahead and go when you're flying and you use it to scan once you go to get on board? I'm about to say on board the ship, on board your flight. But similarly, Royal Caribbean has an amazing app, and not only is there so much that's going to be on there, your shore excursion tickets, the maps and deck plans of the ships, menus for the restaurants. Not only is it like some of those things, but also it's so important in regards to your checking in process and coming on board as well as debarking. So I kind of wanted to share a little bit about why it's so important. And for anyone of your clients who's booked, I strongly suggest that they go ahead and download it. And once they type in their information, it should automatically pull up their booking numbers that they have associated. So a couple of things, the mobile check-in, like I said, similar to just scanning it right as you go through the safety briefing. As you know, we've talked about the safety briefing before, but now we've made the safety briefing, which used to be called a muster drill. Now a safety briefing you can actually view on your phone and be able to go to your muster station, get checked in, make sure that you know how to do everything. And it's just so many different things are being put on the app, which I think in general is just our world now. I mean, how many times have you gone to a restaurant and tried to pull up the menu, but they don't give you a menu? Instead, there's a QR code right at your table. Similar to like just how we are in our everyday lives now, it's similar to being on board. So those are a few different things that we have. I always love sharing this image, the Royal Caribbean app by ship, because it's so much is a great testament to how much our technology has changed. And I think if anything, if there was any positive that came over the past year, I think it would be that a lot of companies were forced to just really make sure that our technology was in place. So just as an example, Allure of the Seas over here on the top far left, we've got our daily planner. So your daily schedule on board. So what time is bingo? What time is the dining room open? All of that is going to be available on your phone. Your deck plan. So if you happen to get lost on board our ships, mobile safety briefing, like we talked about, mobile check-in. We talked about some of our ships actually have guest-to-guest chat. So as you know, for a lot of people who travel overseas, which technically when you're in the water, it's technically overseas. A lot of people don't have service in the middle of the ocean. So there's no way to get in touch with people. You can turn your phones off. And now we offer guest-to-guest chat on a lot of our ships. It's $1.99 per day, which at the end of the day, I would pay that. Like, to get your phone to work overseas or at water, you're already paying roaming charges, and for some people paying an overseas package. So it's a really great option, and you don't need to purchase food. So it's all in the app. You can reserve activities, whether it's dining, reserving a spot at one of the shows, the QR codes, like I mentioned, for paperless menus, view your expense accounts, next cruise. Now, some of our ships not all of them, but some of them actually have a digital key. So you can actually put your phone right up to the door of your stateroom, and that's how you enter. So, I mean, it, literally, if you had asked me 5 years ago if that would have been an option on board a cruise ship, I would have never thought, like, oh yeah, because to me, this sounds like we're in 2040 right now. But I think it's really awesome that we are incorporating such amazing things on board the ships.
Agreed. And I'll tell you, one of the things I think I like the most about the app is the daily planner, because I love to see what's happening, when it's happening. I really want to find out when there's any kind of silly contest I can get myself into. And I'm carrying around that paper daily thing that gets delivered to the room, and sure enough, it's going to get wet at the pool, or
So you do the belly flop competition.
I might have.
No, they sometimes do also have like the dancing competitions on the pool deck.
I might have done that.
I always like to go to the belly flop competition, not to participate, but to watch, because I think it's so much fun and entertaining to like see people like, I don't feel like I'm hurting right now watching, but it's so fun and everyone has such great spirit on board. I love it.
Yeah, and at least this way in my app, I'm not going to lose my paper. It's not going to get wet.
No, I mean, I used to bring a highlighter on board my ship. Whenever I would cruise,
Yeah.
I would used to bring a highlighter and highlight everything I wanted to do throughout the day. And now you can just go into the daily planner and literally add it to your daily schedule.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. So a few other things that make it really important, which, we've talked kind of about the fun things, but also in today's world, we also want to make sure, just as a brand, that we are always up to date with you as a guest coming on board our ship. So through the app, we'll be giving you push notifications, if there's any changes to your health and safety protocols on board, or different awareness of things that are happening on board. We just want to make sure that you know. So we want to be able to give you those push notifications. Of course, we'll still send you an email, but we also want to make sure that, I don't know, sometimes people don't check their emails all the time. And even when you're on board, we want to be able to send you those push notifications when you might not be checking your email. So those are some really good reasons. We've talked about the mobile check-in, but now staggered arrival. Staggered arrival is something that's new. Now, previously, we did have arrival times that, we suggested that people arrive at. But now we've actually gotten pretty strict about the times that people come at. And that's because, obviously there's different sort of testing that we're doing when arriving to the port, depending on where you're going and things like that. And depending on the staff. Everything's based on where you're going. And everything's based on local versus state versus federal and things like that. But the point being is that the staggered arrival is really so that we know who's coming when, and it's relatively strict at this point. And that's because we just want to make sure that we know who's coming on board when, and we can make sure to be prepared for the guests that are coming. So that's something that you can do through your app. And then also the health questionnaire. The health questionnaire is something that, of course, only you can do as someone coming on board. It's to be done within 24 hours of boarding. And like I said, no one else is going to know if you, had a sore throat or had, a fever or anything like that. So this is not, we've actually always done the health questionnaire. Normally it was at the terminal, and you would fill out a checklist of different things before coming on board. But now, just to kind of keep everything mainstream and be able to make sure we have all of our information up to date all the time, we've actually put it in as part of the app. So I think that's just so cool that, I feel like we're trying to make life easier for everyone. And at the end of the day, instead of having to wait in line at the terminal, how great is it that now people can just come to the terminal and be able to almost essentially just walk right on board as opposed to having to wait in line. So I think it's awesome.
I think I'm a big fan of the staggered arrival for sure. So you're eliminating that sea of chaos at the port.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And as of course, as of right now, because we have, limited capacity, and as of right now, we're doing, almost everything through mobile. The time it takes people to get on board is so quick. There's, even though we have different things happening at the port, like we didn't previously have testing at the port and things like that, obviously. But even with that being added, the times haven't changed because so many factors have come in place that have made things go quicker. So definitely a good thing. So So another thing is our safety briefing. This is also on the app. And it's actually really cool because you can watch the video at any time before coming on, at any time close to your sailing. So you don't actually have to do it the day of if you don't want to, but there are some things you still have to do once you're on board. But it's great because I love the idea that you can prepare for your cruise before your cruise. And at least for me, and I'm sure so many of the people who are going to be watching this today or even later would agree, like the more that you're involved in your cruise prior, like whether it's talking to Beverly and saying, Beverly, I want a dinner this night, or Beverly, what kind of short excursions do you propose, or just as simple as going in and watching the safety briefing. Like you're in your mind, like getting so excited for this upcoming sailing. So I love that you can do that pre-cruise. And then once you're on board, you check into your assigned assembly station. So it's just really awesome that so many things can be done right at our fingertips. I mean, how many of us have gone to YouTube on our phones and just watched videos for hours, or Facebook watch or something like that? And it's really like, I love, I personally go through my app sometimes too, and I just kind of scroll like, oh, what other itinerary, what other cruise excursions are there on the different days of my cruise? Or, I keep checking back, oh, do they have my cruise planner up yet? Or do they have the daily schedule up yet? I mean, it's just really exciting that you get so much of this right at your fingertips. And then last but not least, I would love to talk about a little tiny bit about travel protection.
Oh, please do, because those who are watching this and know me know that I preach travel insurance, and it's not just for cancellation, people. So I want you to understand that travel insurance, whether it's with your cruise line or another provider that we recommend, it is not just cancellation. It's a whole suite of protection for you and your people. So Amy, tell us about Royal Caribbean's travel protection program.
Yes, so essentially right now for our Florida itineraries, as I had mentioned, we are doing blended cruises. So we welcome vaccinated guests, we welcome unvaccinated guests on board our Florida itineraries. And of course, I'm not talking about ages 2 through 11 after August, but for ages 16 and up as of right now, and then after August 12 and up, we welcome unvaccinated guests onto our Florida itineraries. And as of right now, which is just for July and August, we are requiring at this point insurance. And there are certain requirements of what insurance that you can have, but because, of just the different world that we are living in right now, and we're kind of just getting back into travel, we just want to make sure that everyone has options just in case of anything. So right now, Royal Caribbean Travel Protection has amazing programs, and we've actually upped a lot of the coverages. So this is actually a new program then compared. So if you've booked with Bev before and you've done Royal Caribbean Travel Protection, this is not the same. This is actually all new enhancements that we've added. So there's luggage protection, there's travel delay, cancel for any reason. Of course, we have medical protection. And then I love the 24/7 support. That's really a wonderful part of it. So at the end of the day, Beverly is going to advise you the best way to go in regards to your cruise itinerary. And so really, I think just sit down with Beverly and have a conversation and see what the different options are for you. Royal Caribbean has the best program. As you know, it'll be right under all one umbrella under Royal Caribbean. So it will meet the requirements that we have for cruising with us. So if anything, just talk to Beverly, and she's the best travel advisor around. I mean,
oh, thank you. Make me blush. Yeah. I will say that travel insurance is very important, all jokes aside, and Royal Caribbean has definitely expanded on their coverages for their offering. So for those of you out there thinking about cruising and wanting to discuss that, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you understand a little more why travel insurance. And of course, as Amy mentioned, we have blended cruises for July and August out of Florida. So on that ship, there could be vaccinated, unvaccinated people. And for those that are unvaccinated, travel insurance is a requirement. And going with Royal Caribbean's plan, you will already meet the requirements. So there's no double thinking there. You know, you get that with your cruise package and you're all set to go. Cruise ready. So exciting.
Cruise ready. I feel like that needs to be your hashtag.
Hashtag cruise ready. Look.
All right, and if you're watching this, hashtag below, hashtag cruise ready.
Hashtag cruise ready if you're ready to get set sailing. Amy, thank you so much. I always love chatting with you because your love and passion for Royal Caribbean just makes me so excited. And it gets me excited about it as well. And I mean, look at this though. Who wouldn't want to be on a floating hotel that looks like this? And who wouldn't want to go to a perfect day at Coco Cay? I know I cannot wait to get to perfect day. I want to go up in the up and away balloon. So I am going to be looking at my schedule and your itineraries and getting myself cruise ready.
Cruise ready. Maybe one of those 3 or 5 night getaways.
Oh, for sure. 3-nighter, no problem. Awesome. Well, listen, folks, we thank you so much for joining us today on my episode of Travel Tuesday with Chesapeake Travel. My lovely guest today, Amy Bonheim with Royal Caribbean International. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments or send us an email at beverly.brown@travelleaders.com. We'll be happy to answer them for you. And listen, if I don't know the answer, this gal right here does. So we're all set and hashtag cruise ready. So signing off. Thanks, Amy. Have a great day.